12.0.5 revamps Midnight's endgame. And Blizzard just fixed its biggest problem. Now, Blizzard's been cooking a little bit lately. I think 12.0.5 is going to be a pretty good patch. For a 0.5 patch, this thing's bringing a lot. So let's see what Beliar's talking about here, about the changes coming in our next reset.
Midnight patch 12.05 drops April 21st, and with it, a week of playing World of Warcraft will actually look a lot different for you. There's new outdoor content in both Eversong and Zalaman. There's a full instanced mode with its own progression track and a bunch of difficulty, if that's what you want. There's gearing that's finally deterministic, but also pays off those voidforge weeklies you've been doing since Season 1. And we've even got a deep sea minigame.
The voidforge weeklies, I mean, what a fucking debacle. I can't believe I haven't been picking up that quest. I did not know. I totally dropped the ball there. Been raiding and everything, not picking up those things. Shit. I gotta go do them.
That, weirdly, has nothing to do with fishing, which does mean that if you don't like fishing in WoW, you'll actually be able to have a lot of fun with this one. And there's even prop hunt in Silvermoon, and a load of quality of life stuff. The patch is called Lingering Shadows, and honestly, it's packing in more than a 0.5 has any right to, so here is everything in it, what it actually means for your week, and all of that in as close to a launch version as is possible, because the good news, there's a few bad headlines about this patch, but the good news is Blizzard slashed loads of the
Candic, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to our Scourge. Thank you. And yeah, Burning, sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, I know, that's tough. Sorry to hear that. Yes, good afternoon.
Currency costs have actually responded to a bunch of that criticism, which actually means this patch is actually looking on the up as well. First up, Void Assaults. Eversong and Zalaman both get them, but not at the same time. They will alternate each week, where basically one zone will have a Void Assault, and the other one will be running a different activity that I'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But here's how the assaults work. You get Void Strikes, which are small World Quest-style events that chain back-to-back across the active zone. Complete enough of them, and a zone-wide progress bar will fill. Once it's full, a Void Incursion will trigger, and that is a multi-stage event with waves of enemies,
right.
The boss at
if
the
I
end.
had to compare this to something, it reminds me of the seed events in the Emerald Dream patch back in Dragonflight, where you do all the quests around the seed, you feed the seed, and then it triggers the next thing, and then you go from there. That's kind of what this reminds me of.
Whenever that's done, the bar resets and the cycle starts again, which does actually mean something really good. You can just keep playing. You can grind these as long as you want, and you'll keep earning stuff. Now, there is a weekly quest attached to it, of course. There always is. But it's straightforward. It just asks you to clear strikes and incursions until the bar fills. Each strike you do fills 20% of the bar, each incursion will fill 33% of the bar, and for filling it, you'll get a weekly cash, which has got a big enough payout. Roughly 1100 gold most times.
Is she just extra huge, or are Amani trolls fucking massive? Why is she so big? What the hell? We gotta make these guys playable. Got to make it happen.
Though that can randomly be much higher. 240 Voidlight Marl, 100 Coffer Key Shards, 20 Champion Dawn Crests, and 75 Field Accolades. And those are new. Field Accolades are the new gear and transmog currency in this patch. We'll cover them shortly, but you should also know you'll be picking up plenty of Voidlight Marl as you go here, getting 50 a strike and 120 for an incursion. And that actually matters because Marl is now the cosmetic currency used for mounts, transmog,
yeah, we're
pets,
using it
decor,
a lot.
all that stuff. And the situation with it's a lot better than when the patch first hit the PTR. Now, if this all sounds a little bit familiar, perhaps like what the Midnight pre-patch event should have felt like, yeah, there's quite a lot of that energy, but hey, better late than never. Now with that said, let's talk about currencies, vendors, rewards, and gear.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, let's talk about currencies and vendors. First, there's Field Accolades. They're the more important one, and they are used for gear and transmog. Then, other cosmetics like mounts, pets, decor, well, they run on Voidlight Marl. That's quite good because it means you're never choosing between upgrades and collecting. And on top of the quest rewards, every mob in the Void Incursions and ritual sites, which is that other feature I mentioned earlier that I'll get to shortly, those also drop dark particles. And if you take 100 of these particles to a vendor, you can get 10 field accolades. And that means you can quite literally mob grind this currency if you want. And while you're doing all your stuff throughout.
Sometimes this shit becomes a bit much. So you can grind this currency to purchase that currency to purchase these caches. Okay. There's so many currencies in this game. My God.
And while you're doing all your stuff throughout the week,
I gotta always remind myself, oh yeah, what's this for? Okay.
Of that currency, which is quite nice. Now there is a caveat here.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Field accolades are not warband transferable. You earn them on the character that you spend them on. But part of that is because they get you pretty good gear. So on the gearing side, there are champion caches for 75 field accolades and hero caches for just a little bit more, 500. But hey, hero gear is pretty good. Now, these get you a random piece for your loot spec. There's no slot targeting, so it is just straight up RNG. But transmog is a little bit more interesting because
I think they have a room of guys that just think up currencies. Yeah, I mean, imagine the guy who draws the currency, you know, because they always need like a new logo for that. Like, so you ask somebody, you're at a party one day, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an artist for Blizzard. Oh, that's cool. What are you drawing? Like some armor? No, I draw currencies. I'm like, oh, that's your whole job? You just draw currencies? What you don't have a lot to do then? What do you do all day? Well, no, actually, we add about 13 to 14 currencies every single week to the game. So I'm actually one of the hardest working people at Blizzard. Yeah, I got to draw this shit up every day. You know how difficult it becomes to draw your 75th iteration of a coin in the game? It's tough, but I got to do it every day. That's what I do. That's the busiest man at all Blizzard headquarters, the guy who draws the currency logos.
Can finally get the purple HD Tier 2
World of Currencies
from the 20th anniversary event. But not as class ensembles. It's on a bit of a gacha system, where each gear slot has got its own void-touched cache. They cost 5 field accolades and 150 moral, or 10 field accolades and 200 moral for the weapons. Now, the way it works is you get a random appearance that you don't already have in that slot. So it is dupe protected within the slot, but you've got no choice over which class set you get. Which does mean if you only wanted one specific set, you're going to be wading through 12 others. But if you're a big completionist, it's a pretty good system because of the bad luck protection. But there's one thing you'll need to be careful about, because if you're buying the champion or the hero gear caches, and you're hoping to get the appearances from them, and you're hoping that there's dupe protection with them, well, you would be sorely disappointed because those have no dupe protection and they roll by armor type, not by class. And what that means is that it's the cosmetic caches from Materum Dawnsetter that are the way to go for your transmogs. Now, the big news here is that Blizzard recently slashed these costs extremely hard, where now all 13 class sets plus all weapons will cost you 775 field accolades total. And that is down from 14,600.
Yeah, that's good, but this still kind of sucks because you could get any of those 13 classes pieces of armor every time you open one of these boxes. I know I've said this already, but this is kind of scuffed because right now, like, you want the shoulders, like I want my blood, my DK shoulders, and I might get priest, and then I might get mage, and then I might grind it out again and get fucking warlock. And it's like, what the hell? Why can't I just get the one I want? You're not going to be able to. You just got to get them all. At most, because they eliminate whichever one you got already, they're not going to give it to you again. So at most, you have to purchase 13 of each one. But it's kind of ridiculous.
So they really have made that.
And for pants, it's actually, I think, 15 because I think Shaman, I know Paladin does. I think Shaman's the other one maybe. Or it's Druid. Two of them have a like this, the dress version of the pants and the pants version of the pants. So you're going to have to buy even more of that one.
So much more friendly. And of course, while you will have to farm up those field accolades on whatever character you're using, the Voidlight Moral is warband transferable, and it will comprise most of the cost of these. But that's not all for the rewards. We've also got the Unbound Mana Worm, which is from the Meta achievement at 6,000 Moral, and the Void Touched Hawkstrider at Ritual Site Renown 8 for 4,500. I'll get to the ritual sites soon. There's also 3 pets at 1,800 moral each and 2 full sets of housing decor. There's ritual site vendor pieces at 1,300 moral for one of everything, and Cinderai themed items from the Void Assault vendors at around 1,100. There's garden swings, cook pots, display cases. Good stuff if you're building a kind of Blood Elf aesthetic. But with that said, it's finally time to discuss ritual sites. And these could be a little bit of a sleeper hit.
I think these are going to be
Ritual
cool.
sites are the other activity that alternates with the void assaults. So there'll be a void assault in one zone, and ritual sites will be running in the other zone. And these are maybe the biggest thing in the patch for many people. So what they are is they're 1 to 5 player instanced content with no timer. Sort of imagine horrific visions with no timer crossed with delves. And the way these work is you'll have 2 sites rotating weekly. There's Daggerspine Point off Eversong's western coast and Broken Throne in southern Zalaman. And a neat thing is Blizzard's roadmap actually suggests that more of these are coming in patch 1207. Now the way these work is a little bit different, so there are 5 difficulty tiers. Tiers 1 and 2 are open. Tier 3 needs 1 challenge to be activated, Tier 4 needs 2 challenges, and Tier 5 needs 4 challenges.
Right, and from what I understand, you don't have to unlock these different difficulties like we did with Horrific Visions. So you just pick whichever 4 you want, or you could go for achievements and plug all 8 in. We learned that yesterday. You could just have all 8 challenges active and go for some of the achievements.
What are challenges?
Doing that.
Well, challenges are optional modifiers. There are 8 in total, and they're unlocked through quests. And what they do is they add mechanics and multiply your rewards. Almost imagine turning on skulls for a Halo campaign way back in the day. Now these modifiers are things like tendrils to dodge, spirits to interrupt, empowering obelisks near bosses, extra patrol packs, and ember nodes that will buff the final boss by 15% each if you skip them. And if you stack all 8 of them, well, your spoils will roughly be doubled, so quite a bit more. Now, unlike delves, ritual sites don't drop gear directly, but what they do is still quite neat, because they give you great vault progress, crests...
This is the craziest thing of them all, and basically why delves and prey is going to be fucking obsolete. Look at this shit. 269 hero gear from your vault for completing a tier 5. That's higher than any other solo piece of content in the game. 269, first of all, 69, okay. And then 269, my God. That's high as shit. So this is going to be like, if you're a solo, like Greg from accounting is going to have to take a little break from delves and make sure he's doing a tier 5 ritual every single week, because that vault slot's going to be freaking maxed. And then you do a couple of them, you fill out that entire row. Because these contribute to the same row as delves and world content do. So 5, and you max on... That's true, and you get the crests. No, this is like this is totally just shit on the prey system and the delve system. There's going to be no reason to do those. If you want to do solo content, you should do this.
For key shards and field accolades, with those
Maybe
accolades
you can finally
being
get
the
some
thing
gear,
you'll use to buy some pretty nice gear from the vendor. And in terms of the reward scale, at tier 1 you'll be building towards a veteran 4 out of 6 great vault slot, and you'll get 5 champion crests for each run. And then at tier 5 you'll be building towards hero 4 out of 6 in your great vault with 20 hero crests. Pretty damn nice. Now, the field accolade scale as well, where 10% of your final spoils total will be given to you in field accolades, so if you can get
to this realm.
Holy Cam, thank you for the follow. Welcome to our Scourge.
Good tier 5 run with a bunch of the challenges activated, you can net yourself 80 to 90 field accolades. So you can get those hero chests of gear pretty quick. But that doesn't mean you can rush straight to doing tier 5s. That's because deaths matter here. So your first 2 deaths are free, but after that every death will cost you 5% of your final spoils, up to a 50% penalty. Now another neat thing is there's actually a renown track for this feature with 8 levels, and it actually changes how the content is played. So let me explain. At Renown 1, you'll spawn healing orbs during combat. Renown 2 will add in some treasures. Renown 4 adds in rares. Renown 5 gives you speed shrines and some extra spoils.
Ooh.
And all the way up at Renown 8, you will unlock elite rares. So it's a pretty neat system where as you progress through it, they will just feel a bit more involved and they'll give you more rewards. Now, of course, it is World of Warcraft, and that does mean there's often a weekly element to things, so...
Why the hits on Bellular looks like he drinks Pilsner, and then somebody says Bellular looks like a tater tot. No, I can't see it. Oh, no. Guy does have the tater tot shape, yeah. Hey, leave Bellular alone. He's a good man. He makes good content. Come on.
The way that works is your first 2 completions each week will give you bonus renown, 750 for the first and 500 for the second. But one thing that is worth knowing though, is that at low tiers with no challenges activated, These really do feel underwhelming. There's barely any mechanics, the bosses don't do much, but at tier 4 or 5 with multiple challenges running, it's actually a completely different experience. Like as an example, one of the challenges is called Malevolent Boons. It's the one that adds an obelisk near the bosses. Now, each
Malevolent
one will
boobs.
bump up the boss's health and damage by 15% and add extra mechanics. So basically, when you add those things, it really will feel quite different. But even if
Okay.
you're not a big damage and progress focused player, there's some stuff here. So for the collectors, there are secret mounts and pets that are hidden across both of these sites. It's actually quite similar to the way that the Revisited Horrific Visions did things. So you'll be able to get a Void Touch Snapdragon from Daggerspine Point, a Hex Eagle and Witherbark Warbear Mother from the Broken Throne, and a Void Corrupted Lynx from Treasures and Rares. Plus about half a dozen pets that are scattered between these things. So, that's what's going on in the world. Honestly, it's a shitload, it's way more than we usually get in a 0.5 patch, but it's not the only feature that's coming, because next, we need to talk about the voidforge.
Yeah, that's the biggest deal. I mean, I've been
If you've
talking
been
about it
doing
all
those
morning.
purple voidforge weeklies from Decimus in Voidstorm since Season 1, well, this is where all that work will
But what if I haven't, Bellular? What if I haven't been picking up this fucking quest every single day? Damn it, man. I can't believe I let this happen. So, I mean, once a week you were supposed to pick this up and then you get the Void Core for doing shit like Mythic Plus and raids and everything else. Well, guess what? I've been doing that shit, but I haven't been picking up the quests because I completely forgot about this thing. But the good thing is you can make it up. So, I mean, you could pick up this quest, go do a raid, turn it in, kill one boss, go turn it in, then come back, do it again and again. You don't have to, it's not a weekly thing anymore. You can have a catch up for it, but still, shit. You know, shit. I messed it up.
finally pay off. Those quests we're building
And you gotta
toward
do this before the
unlocking
patch comes out.
actual Void Forge. And once it's complete in 1205, Terminus will be able to transmute void energy into nebulous void cores. Now that all sounds a bit flowery, so here's how it works in practice. You'll pick up a nebulous void cache that is tied to a specific type of content you've done. So a raid, Mythic Plus dungeon, Bountiful Delve, or a Nightmare Prey. Basically, a bit of seasonal content. Now, as you pick up those void caches, you'll be able to trade them in for a piece of gear for your loot spec from that source. So basically, it's a bit like the old bonus loot system that the game used to have, where if you killed a boss or completed a dungeon,
bonus
you'd be
roll.
able to
Yeah.
do an extra roll for a piece of loot. Just that here the way it works is it's one item per difficulty level until you've gotten everything available.
Yeah, it's actually better than a bonus roll because it has bad luck protection built in. So like if there's 2 items that you want from a boss and raid per se, first of all, it's only limited to spec specific items for you, which whatever you're spec'd into. And then you do the roll and you get one of those 2 items. The next time you do the roll, if there's only 1 item left that you can get, you're going to get it because it takes things off the list as you get them. So this is actually better than the bonus rolls we used to get. The bonus roll just used to be you're rolling on the boss again. You're rolling on the item again that dropped.
And that may seem like a bit confusing.
This is
but
like
the
a personal
upshot
loot
is,
roll.
We now have deterministic
Pre-watch,
loot targeting. So say there is a boss that has a trinket that you really want. Well, if you kill that boss and then do your little bonus roll thing with this new system, maybe you'll get the trinket you want, maybe you won't. But even if you don't and you get another bit of gear, the next time you go to do a bonus roll,
that's what I
it'll
was
be
saying.
impossible for you to get that bit of
This is
gear
what I was just
again.
saying, not because I pre-watched it, because I know how this fucking thing works, okay? I did not fucking pre-watch it. Damn it. Unbelievable, you guys. Unbelievable.
So there is bad luck protection, and that means you can literally brute force your way to whatever item you want.
Yep.
And if I was to wrap it all up in
nice.
a
It's a good
TLDR,
thing.
it's basically just bonus loot, but with bad luck protection built in and way better than it was in the past.
And we just found out this morning that when you get a shitty vault, this is the biggest news of all. When you get a shitty vault, you know those the little coins that you can opt to choose rather than the piece of gear? You can choose to purchase one of these nebulous void cores from that thing. You can use those coins to purchase one of these. So you can essentially purchase a bonus roll on one of your items that you really need right now. So that just makes that shitty day at the vault store a little bit better.
But as it turns out, that's not the only
For how
thing
many
that Void
coins?
Forge is good
I don't think they said. Yeah, I don't think they just said they make it purchasable.
for, because there's another thing we get called Ascendant Void Cores. Now, Ascendant Void Cores are made out of course, Ascendant Void Shards. You'll need to pick up 5 of them and they drop from endgame content. And once you combine 5 of them into an Ascendant Void Core, you'll be able to take that back to Decimus. And when you do, you'll be able to upgrade your bits of gear.
So 40 coins or something? No, I don't think so. Let me see. Buy edition. It's right here. The blue post is right here. I don't think they said how many it was going to cost. I doubt it's 40. Okay, it's probably like the rest of the shit, like 3 or something. 6 right here. Players can also purchase Nebulous Void Cores for 6. So 2 weeks, if you're just doing like your typical plus 10s and stuff. 6 of them was what it'll take you. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. You get a bonus roll for that shit.
Here that are already fully upgraded. Now this works on hero or myth track weapons and trinkets, or max quality radiance crafted ones. And that means that those items can go above their normal item level ceiling. And when that's being done on, say, your two-handed weapon, that will actually make a lot of difference.
You can convert your weapon to myth track, from heroic to myth track. That's a huge deal, man.
Now there's also a PvP path as well, so yeah, PvPers, Blizzard did not forget you.
Oh,
and
nice.
what you'll get is a Galactic Void Matrix.
Oh.
Which does actually seem a lot cooler than the other ones.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
a cool
what
name.
you can get from all this is loads of cosmetics and loads of progression on your characters. Now, of course, the various renown bars and progress in the voidforge, those are all warband wide. So that's great, you're not going to have to re-grind. Now, the cosmetic side of things this patch is pure gacha, and while there's plenty of randomness in how you get gear from the ritual side stuff or the field accolades, with the Voidforge, we are actually getting a fairly amazing way to target specific sources of gear. It basically does mean some guaranteed completion. I really like that. And what's great is that if you play alts, every character will benefit from the one progression track here. Now, I'll know the Voidforge.
How do PvPers get that? I'm guessing doing PvP matches. You complete a match, you get a cash or something.
Stuff was not testable on the PTR, so we are working from Blizzard's development notes. Let's hope the execution of things actually lands. Well, that's actually not the end of the patch.
Probably for PvP.
We've got some other really neat features too. Abyss Anglers. So, this is off the coast of Zalaman. It's near Atalutek, which is probably a place that's going to matter in patch 12.1.
Yeah.
There, we find a troll encampment that's running deep-sea diving expeditions called Abyss Anglers, and you'll want to forget your fishing pole because it's all done with a harpoon. So, it's a sort of diving fishy minigame, and it's got an upgrade loop that honestly feels like a little roguelite game within a game more than just about anything else in WoW. So you've got 3 abilities to work with. There's a dash on a 1-second cooldown, a harpoon to strip protective scales off fish before you can capture them, and a surface button which will end your dive. Now your oxygen drains as you go, and if it empties, your run will be over. There's a little bit of Dave the Diver in this, which actually extends to the environment having gameplay. So there are grapple hooks to pull yourself around with, there's water spouts that'll launch you upwards, vortexes that'll fling you sideways. It's all quite neat, and there's an upgrade tree that I actually think will keep you coming back. So you'll get angler pearls from each dive, and you can use those to purchase swim speed upgrades, which actually take you to double swim speed. You can get bigger oxygen tanks, you can get nets for catching tougher creatures, better bait for rare fish from abyss bubbles, and eventually a pressurized eyeglass to find ancient treasures with.
Ooh.
So basically it's better gear, deeper dives, more pearls. It's all feeling a bit Dave the Diver. Now, for the cosmetic rewards, you've got the Abyss Angler and Depth Diver Vestment transmog sets. There's a pet, housing decor, and a Loa idol.
Yeah, missed opportunity. There should have been a mount. I would have done it. If there was a cool mount attached to this thing, I would have done it. That's the thing that motivates me. It's either I need gear upgrades or a mount from something, and those are the 2 reasons I'll do something.
Now, I'll say that this
or maybe a cool
feels
transmog.
a little bit first pass, and by all accounts, it's a bit rough around the edges. But there's a strong foundation there, and I think if Blizzard
cool underwater mount. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It could actually go somewhere. Who knows? Maybe they can even work it into being a part of the fishing profession. Now, as it turns out, there's even more in this patch, but I'm going to go through the rest of it kind of quickly. So there's a new feature called Decor Jewels, which is basically prop hunt, but located in Silvermoon.
Yep.
One team disguises themselves as bits of housing decor. The other team hunts them down with Spellbreaker, Nullifier, or Arcane Ranger kits. And if you play enough of this, you can get yourself a mount for 500 of its illusionary coin currency, or you can get any of 10 cosmetic weapons at 100 each. And there's a bunch of Blood Elf decor you can get from this as well. Okay, next feature then. Evoker Battle Visage is a new thing that will let you stay in your visage form during combat and only snap back to...
Is it visage or visage? I don't know. I think it's like a British thing, the way he says it. I just call it visage form. He calls it visage form. It just sounds so much more, I don't know, yeah, visvag. Yeah, it sounds much more fancy the way he says it. Like, where are you taking me to eat tonight? Oh, we're going to go to the local restaurant. What is it? Oh, it's a good steak place called Visage. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just an accent thing, maybe.
Your Drakthir form.
Both are acceptable.
You're doing a spell that needs you to be a Drakthir, like, say, Deep Breath, Fire Breath, or something like that. And what's neat is they've even reanimated Disintegrate to be usable from your visage.
Hey,
so
that's new.
I
didn't know that.
If you wanted to play an Evoker with the dragon bit as kind of flavor, but not as the main thing that you're in, well, that is actually now a viable option even in combat. To keep on going with class things, though, Demon Hunters can now...
Wait, why play... Neo says, why play a dragon then if you're just going to play in a horned Blood Elf form? Isn't it obvious? Because you're a closet scaly, and you only want to go into dragon form when you're on Moon Guard in the middle of the night at Lion's Pride Inn. Of course. What are we talking about here? It's very obvious why.
Finally get blue and blue fiery eye options across all Demon Hunter races. Void Elf Demon Hunters can get some new themed blindfolds, but the technology to give us blue tattoos sadly has not been invented yet. Okay, moving on to Transmog then. They've actually got some new tech where weapon sheathing options are now a thing in WoW. So you can sheath your weapon in your back, your side, or just have your weapon be hidden whenever it's sheathed.
Question, where's the weapon hidden when it's hidden? Where the rogues putting their daggers at? Just saying. If we're going to RP this game properly, they got to be somewhere.
They've also added in new weather and time of day outfit situations, which basically means your transmogs can swap automatically in rain or snow or, say, morning and night. It's a really neat, flavorful system. And they've also added a /outfit command for doing some quick changes as well.
This is a cool
to
feature.
Continue then, Dragonflight LFR is finally soloable again via Luca Farad in Valdrakken. All cooking and vendor food has been converted to be percentage-based instead of fixed numbers, which will mean the previous expansion consumables will actually work again after the level squish broke them. And for housing, decor now fades in at distance rather than pop in. A nice little touch. And you can also now link decor in chat. And there's an exterior editor that won't reset your house position whenever you swap types. Pretty damn nice. And to round off the rest of the changes, the trading post is adding in some Tauren, some Sunwalker, and some Gilnean ensembles. And over in the UI side, you can now minimize the damage meter, finally, and edit mode will let you shift-click to enable elements directly, and raid frames are now bigger and come with a new big defensive slider. And then finally, there's the Darkspear Dash mini-event. Blizzard have basically taken what was a sort of community fun run mini-event called the Running of the Trolls, and they've now added in some proper rewards, and it's also WoW's first official Pride event, and taking part in it will get you a tabard and some cosmetics.
Yeah.
Okay, that is patch 1205. Loads of outdoor content, a full instanced mode with its own progression and hidden collectibles. These ritual sites could really turn into something if Blizzard's able to execute them well. We've got targeted gearing, basically lots of
That's
nice
a big patch for a 0.5 patch,
usually
man.
Expect from a 0.5. And if you found yourself wondering, how do we actually get to this patch? What's going on? What's the context? And haven't we already defeated the Void, so how are they having incursions? Well, turns out the cultists that Xalatath just abandoned don't feel great about being abandoned. We're dealing with them, not her. And if you want the story that bridges us into all of this, check out this video next.
Ah, nice. Yeah, cool. Wait, the troll running of the trolls? I never did it before. I don't think I'm going to do it now. Yeah, it's fine. They made an official event. Okay. Other than that, the 0.5 patch is bringing a ton of shit as well, man. There's so much stuff that's you're going to be able to do during the 0.5 patch. For a 0.5 patch, it's big. It's big for sure. So we got a lot of shit. that's coming in this thing. I'm excited for it. Nice video overall from Bellular.